to a reasonably efficient process. So not an easy thing to do.
All right. So would you in your experience, I mean, there's sort of individual people who at least say that they do arbitration. Obviously, there are some who do. Is there any kind of community that you would say of people at least interested in arbitration?
I would say about this much.
Okay.
He says
He
says to
that won't record well.
He says to the recorder, there are some very good lawyers here who serve as arbitrators on occasion. We're sitting in a very good law firm. Okay.
Yeah.
So in any jurisdiction where arbitration takes hold, your best and brightest members of the bar, and frankly the commercial community, should be engaged as arbitrators. I don't think the urgency has been there.
Okay.
I think that the center, the government has been good to fund the center, but I don't think I think the center would do well to have. And they have a new executive director, so they may have an opportunity. But it's like in many other places. I think even the management from the highest end has been something of a part-time opportunity, and you're never going to thrive when you don't give more to it. It can't be a hobby.
Yeah.
Arbitration needs to be a profession, not a hobby.
Yeah.
And the professional class, at least for arbitration, would be rather slow.
So, I mean, because you obviously have a lot of experience, but I mean, you talked about Ireland, but also these other countries that you consult with in terms of developing things.
Yeah.
Do you approach that just through trying to train the people, or no? So
I mean, what we've done is identify various stakeholder communities. So you've got the judiciary, you've got the business community, you've got the bar.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you really have to work all of them at the same time if the process is going to succeed. It's hard.
Yeah.
You need to have a decent statutory framework. You need to have judges who are competent, who actually understand arbitration and understand arbitration law. You need to have a bar that is and you need or business leaders who are trained in arbitration, know how to manage a case effectively, and then you need to talk about it so that business people actually will think about it in terms of inserting arbitration clauses in their commercial contracts. I did an interview of a company when I was doing this dispute-wise study in France. And I don't know if I should tell you the company or not. I don't think I will. But they had multiple jurisdictions, so it won't be so hard for you to figure out. So it was a huge company with lots of expertise coming from multiple European jurisdictions. And it was interesting to see the reaction of those various jurisdictions to arbitration. So it wasn't uniform by any stretch of the imagination.
Wow. Yeah.
So I had a German who was saying we should arbitrate. We should arbitrate everything. I had a Frenchman who said we should arbitrate international cases.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. And so the practice is not uniform. The acceptance is certainly not uniform.
Yeah.
I would say in the Mediterranean, this particular area, I think it is underdeveloped, seriously underdeveloped, and would need attention on multiple levels.
But is the demand? Do you see it here? I mean, again, I've gone through some of the more, in terms of arbitration, obscure places of Italy, and so there's always someone there who is saying, no, we really want to develop arbitration here, and so on. Your description. It's not that easy. There's a whole lot of work involved.
There's a whole lot of work involved, and to be fair, the legal profession at least does fine with the system as it is.
Yeah.
So inertia is a huge enemy of progress.
And sometimes fees too. I mean, I've had people tell me that lawyers don't like the idea of arbitration because they think it'll be quicker. You make less money. So
it's sad. I mean, you also keep clients. Clients are happier.
Yeah.
You might, getting a solution is not necessarily a bad idea. But anyway, you have some very good practitioners here.
Okay.
But I don't think they suffer in the current climate. They have learned to live with the system.
Gotcha. Yeah.
If you went to a government that was looking at reform. So it would be interesting for you to speak to the people at the U.S. Embassy.
Okay.
Okay, why? Because they have been pushing judicial reform in Malta for a long time. Okay.
With an eye on arbitration or just?
Well, I think arbitration would probably be part of the picture, but
Okay.
they'd probably be looking at the statutory framework. They'd probably be looking at the judiciary. They'd be looking certainly at the cycle time for resolution of cases.
Yeah.
Huge issue in Italy.
Yeah,
Huge issue.
certainly.
Huge issue in Malta.
Okay.
And arbitration would help.
Yeah.
But you need to have something needs to motivate the change.
Yeah.
And it could be investment. And that's why I say Malta may be in a place where timing is right.
Okay.
So we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
All right. So in terms of your practice, obviously you do international stuff. Do you a standard thing that everyone does at the international level? Everyone's always zipping off to conferences and so on. Do you do that? Do you have? I mean, obviously you have a large amount of name recognition in the field as it is. Do you feel you still need to get out there?
You always have to get out there.
Okay.
I do less of it than I used to when I was better funded. But couldn't.
It's always nice to have a budget.
And now that it's my own nickel, I'm careful. Like many of our colleagues who've been around a while, I will generally go to a conference where I'm speaking.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Which, as you know, probably happens too much for our colleagues. but I'm far more likely to be, to attend in that case. It's the rare case that I go to a conference just to go to a conference.
Yeah.
In fact,
I've
pretty much never.
I don't know that I've ever done it.
I was going to say,
yeah.
Pretty much never.
Yeah.
But that's okay. And also the work that I do now is because so much of it is on the sort of consulting side. The work was less to be at conferences and more to be at meetings at, like, say, UNCITRAL or ICSID or these kinds of things.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
It's more sort of policy stuff, AFDB,
Okay. So, I mean, with the mention of UNCITRAL, so there's a famous article that Gabriel Kaufman-Kohler wrote 15 years or so, maybe, I guess now, in which she made the argument that at least sort of the level of arbitration that she does, everything's the same everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
You go to whether you're in arbitration in New York or Singapore or whatever, it's exactly the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Is that consistent with your experience, or do you actually see
it's very interesting, but I would say that is actually a misnomer. I think that arbitration is different, for instance, in the U.S. than it is in London.
And you say even at the top level, because obviously domestically you get a lot of variation.
It should look a lot the same.
Yeah.
Party expectations are different. All this business about civil law, common law divide being dead, and that's not true. There absolutely are ingrained approaches to the process. California arbitration is way different than an arbitration in Frankfurt.
Yeah.
It's just not the same.
Yeah.
And it's not the same because the parties have different expectations of the process in significant part. Also because counsel have a different
well, that's what I was going
training.
to in the sense, it comes back to the parties in the sense that they would be picking the counsel and indirectly picking the tribunal, but then ultimately it's the tribunal that is going to be actually setting the...
Yes, but the tribunal is sensitive to the expectations of the parties, as they should be.
Yeah.
It should be sensitive to it to the extent that the process doesn't work.
Yeah.
And an early, preliminary hearing, organizational hearing, the UNCITRAL notes are still a fabulous document, even though they're very old. Good case management is good case management everywhere on the planet.
Yeah.
And I suspect in the hands of the best arbitrators, it might not look so different.
Yeah.
Okay. But it would look different, I suspect, because people have different expectations.
Yeah. I mean, on the case management thing, I mean, one of the